I don't know why the hell
he always leaves me out of the outro.
Well, I mean, we don't include anybody, but I threw you in
Just kidding.
there.
And welcome back to another episode of the Riley Black Project. Crystal and John.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's going.
How you feeling?
Finally getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been really fucking tired.
Yeah.
So I'm finally feeling somewhat human today.
Right. Jet lag is real. Jet lag
Yeah.
is real.
And germs and all those things. Finally feeling somewhat human. Mm-hmm. So, when I joked that it was going to take me a few weeks to a few months to recover from that, I didn't really want it to be serious.
Oh, well.
But the universe said, hold my beer.
You called into the universe.
So, yeah. But I'm doing better.
Okay.
And as you can tell, again, week, whatever this is, I have zero makeup on and I don't care. I was sure that I'd make it at least a month before my give a fuck went out the window.
Right.
And that didn't happen.
I mean,
so.
I think it's the 4th YouTube episode.
That's what I mean. Yeah. 4. Yeah, but no, it was 3.
No.
The Friday episode that we did live, which was fun, by the way.
Well, yeah, it was. The live was a lot of fun. I hope you guys.
Yeah.
I hope it translated.
Right.
But it was a lot of fun.
But the live, I had glasses on and everything. Didn't even have my contacts in. So yeah, I made it. I think 2 weeks. So
hey, that's something.
Yeah.
It's not nothing.
But yeah, this new video thing kind of makes me want my lashes again.
Okay.
Just because you wake up and you look together.
Right.
And that never happens for me. So
lashes.
We'll see. Maybe they're kind of there's maintenance.
Are you gonna get double lashes?
No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna have tarantulas on my face.
No.
I'm gonna get
just the regular
look natural
extensions.
Not natural, but not not the thing, the whole thing that people have on their face now. Yeah, the fan. I couldn't think of the thing.
Yeah, the fan.
Yeah.
On the eyeball.
Yeah. So what is that? Sesame Street, the elephant or the snuffleupagus or whatever.
Snuffleupagus. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Hey, not those.
Bird.
Yeah. So as you can see, for the people who are watching on YouTube, thank you for those who subscribed and are watching.
Yes, please subscribe. Hit the bell so you can.
Hit the bell
so it notifies you when the new.
Just tap the like button. You don't have to smash it.
Smash the like button.
Smash it.
Smash the like button. Leave a comment.
But so I have this one from my friend Lindsay.
Oh.
And it says, "I have it together. I just forgot where I put it."
That's
very fitting.
That's a good one.
And set that one off, and then not that one yet. That one will be last. And then this one is for my friend Charisse. It says, "And here we fucking go again. I mean, good morning."
I'm guessing she's gonna put coffee in that one.
Yeah, she said she loves sarcasm on cups, so she's going to be a solid customer.
Oh, nice.
I sent her a picture of which is it's also my thing.
It's the tag.
So I sent her a picture of these that I finally finished because they sent me to these weeks ago, and I let them know I need some designs to get some testing and stuff done.
And those are the first two official
ones
that are going out.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had some.
And I posted them on Facebook and people are seeming to be interested. And just so you know, if you order a tumbler from me, this is huge. I don't do a lot of products anymore.
Right. No physical products. So
yeah. So
something from Riley Black Designs
is a rare gem now.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So,
and so I told her, I was like, let me know if you want any more because I could ship them all together. And she sent me 4 more ideas. So
all right.
She's going to be one of my, nice. I might have to do
tumblers.
I might have to do a Tumblr royalty program or something like that.
A subscription thing.
A little hole punch.
Yeah.
But I can't punch it.
Right.
Maybe a digital
punch.
Yeah.
And then this one has our logo, our Riley Black Project logo.
So what I'm thinking is I might make a second one.
A second one?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I think I'm going to give find a winner for one of our YouTube subscribers.
There you go. So if you want to Riley Black Project Tumblr.
So,
Subscribe.
I think what I'm going to
Smash
do
the like
is stop it with the smash. I think what I'm going to do is as soon as we get to 500, I think that's a good goal. And we're at like
we're
472.
472.
So as soon as we get to 500,
we should be soon, hopefully, after this podcast airs, guys. Huh? What do you think? What do you think?
Do it.
And watch a few. Just let it roll in the back.
Yeah, you don't have to actually have your eyeballs on it. Just make sure the screen doesn't go to sleep.
Yeah, get us our watch hours, please, so we get monetized.
So at 500, we'll pull a winner for our YouTube subscribers. I'll have to see how I can, if that's easily like exportable and whatever.
Yeah,
I'll
maybe
have to see.
Just have to put the names in or
whatever. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Yeah. And then I'm going to do another one for our patrons.
Oh.
So I think we'll do shit.
Or not. Maybe not.
No,
Maybe
we will
do it.
But I didn't do shout outs for August because August has been insane.
Yes, it has between the show and
so I promise I'll do that next week.
Okay.
I'll do the shout outs because it's a pain.
Double shout outs.
Or maybe I'll do shout outs after we get our guest online because then I think I can get it on my phone. Or at least I'll try.
Okay.
So for the month of September, if you are a patron, you'll be automatically entered to win an engraved tumbler of your color of choice. Maybe I take that back. Maybe just black because we got to keep it on brand. Yeah. And the red tumblers are a pain in my ass right now. So not red right now.
So when this airs, you have 2 more days to subscribe.
As long as they subscribe in the month of September.
Oh, in the month?
In the month of September.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think. What do you think? What's better?
Yeah, give them a month.
Yeah, because 2 days is kind of...
do it in October?
Yeah, because that means they'd have to listen right away. And,
right.
Yeah. Right. So if you sign up in September and you are a active patron, you will be entered to win one and you don't have to do a thing.
And if you're thinking, hey, I want to support you guys on YouTube, but I also want to be a Patreon, on Patreon, you also get it a week early, the video portion.
Yes. Yeah, so
you can do
what
both.
happens is if you watch us on YouTube, but you're a patron, we upload the link to Patreon, and it's just unlisted. Only people with the link can see it. Right. So only our patrons can see it, and they can see it on Friday, and everybody else gets it on Monday.
So you get best of both worlds. You can support us on YouTube and on Patreon.
Yeah.
All the revenue streams.
And then, I mean, I know you guys can make your own, but it's my logo. So you can also buy them. If you want to buy one, let me know.
Buy the tumblers.
Because a lot of these people are laser owners, but they maybe they have a Glowforge or whatever. But
or maybe if you want to support,
if you want to buy one,
or
let
2
me know.
or 3,
holla.
Yeah.
What else we got? We had things.
First week of school.
Yeah, it went well. So then there's the... so we were
tempted to walk.
We were going to walk, and then...
I walk in the mornings. We walk to school in the morning. Which is
definitely different
yes.
Than attempting to walk at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Florida heat. So that was completely miserable, and I'm never doing that again. Even if I get my stamina up, I don't think I'll ever willingly walk that far at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the heat again.
Right. At least in summer.
Yeah. If it's like a cool, nice day, maybe.
The 2 or 3 that we get a year.
Yeah, maybe. But no. So what I may do is join you in the mornings.
Yeah.
But so then we tried walking on the first day, and then immediately I was like, no. And so then we went to the car line.
Right.
And that was okay. It wasn't terrible. They were pretty decent with like the speed of getting everybody out and that kind of stuff.
Once 2:30 hits and school's officially over, it gets
But then the problem with that was, so I'd leave around 2, and then I get home around like 2:45. And then I had 2 hours-ish.
Right.
And then I had to go get Jackson.
Right.
And so then it takes me about an hour to go get Jackson. And so it's like, spend an hour. I got 2, which can't really start on anything too in depth.
For sure.
And then now I'm going to go do another hour picking up the kids and coming back.
Then you got JR, ball of energy, running around.
Right, running around. Right. Yeah, doing all the things. Right. Eating all the snacks and, getting in my way like a 5-year-old is supposed to do.
Right, yeah.
So today was the first day we did aftercare.
Right.
And
so it's funny because they told us in school that there was a a line, like
there was a wait list.
Right, there was a wait list to get into.
It was
too
full.
many, right?
Yeah.
So
and
then
I was like, of course.
Right. So I fill out the stuff online to get put on the wait list.
Right.
And then they said allow 3 to 4 business days.
Well, they don't tell you how much until you're even on the list.
Right. Just to find out if your application went through and everything like that. Well, the next day I get a call and I'm thinking it's like, I forgot to fill out some stuff and this and that. And you asked me, hey, ask them if that means there's an availability.
Right.
And I said, does this mean that there's an availability? And she's like, well, I'm calling you to fill. I'm like, okay, thanks. Because I didn't know that's what the phone call was for. But so there was an availability, and luckily he started.
Yeah, and it was pretty affordable. It came out to something like $10 a day or $5 a day or something like that. I think
it was like $5 an hour if we did like 2 or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But it wasn't too bad. No. And then we also. So it's a grant-based program. Obviously, we didn't qualify for the grant, but the school does get a discount. I think it's because it qualified. Since the school qualifies, we get a discount overall, even though we don't qualify for the grant program. But whatever, it's not super expensive, and it definitely works to your benefit because you get to work up until.
So we tried it today,
4, right?
And we left at like 4:45. And my goal was around 4:30.
Yeah, so it's about an hour to pick up both kids.
4:45, and we were home by like 5:45, and it was so much like smoother and easier, and first week of anything you're figuring out routines,
and he gets to play for 2 extra hours with friends,
right? Yeah,
and stuff at school.
And there was plenty of kids in there. I think they said there was like 16 in his like age group or his grade. So and I was like, so I was asking all these questions, and I asked him a million times if he liked it and did he have fun and all that, because mom guilt. So I was glad that it wasn't just like 2 kids or you know what I mean.
Right.
And I was telling you in the car, it's hard for me because I work from home. And so I have this extra guilt of he could be home with me.
Right.
But then, again, it's like my day was ending at 2:00.
Right. Right.
And you start getting ready at 1.
And
so depending on what we're doing in the morning, like there's like basically like an hour where I'm alone to be able to like really work on my stuff depending on what we got going on. So, I was realizing spending all this money for Jackson to be in daycare, but then still dealing with him being home so early, it was like I wasn't getting this like free day that I thought in my mind I was going to be able to get. It wasn't
as much time as you thought it was going to be.
Right. And so actually spending a little bit more money to have him also in aftercare for a couple hours really gives me that like full day and gives me like almost 3 or 4 hours of alone time to really do
skip
stuff.
That car line. That dismissal.
Man, because this you walk in, you sign them out, and you leave. Yeah. So
the most we had to wait today was she was walking out with her kid, and we were walking in.
Right. Yeah. It was super quick. So it was the longest wait was them calling JR to come.
Yeah, him to come.
So I told him, I was like, hell, it might even be worth it for some parents to pay for aftercare to skip the car line.
The guilt you were having. I was telling you, like I was when I went, it was called the YMCA. Yeah. After school care. And like it was in the school and
I was always in aftercare.
Yeah. So
and my mom always picked me up around like 5 or 6. I was like one of the last kids, to even be picked up at aftercare. And it was just like my life.
I personally like kind of looked forward to it because like going to class without the like schoolwork. Right. Because you're just like hanging out, talking or whatever. So
it was funny though. I said, I asked him, I was like, so did you like it? Did you have fun? He was like, yeah. It's like, there was no toys. There were only books. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, his big thing is like, are there going to be toys? I'm like, maybe.
Maybe.
There might be.
Yeah.
We'll see. There were no
Who knows?
toys. Only books.
In COVID world, that's probably another thing they'd have to sanitize or
true.
Something.
True, I guess books you don't have to.
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows?
That's cool.
But yeah, so that's the latest, and it's just, I need to treat it as like the business I want it to be, the business it is,
right?
And just work through the guilt. But now, and now I feel a little bit better about sending him there, because he wasn't like, oh, that sucked, or that was boring, or
Right.
I mean, again, it was only first day, so we'll kind of see how it goes.
It's gonna come in clutch on early release days.
Yes, so early release days is like noon, I think.
Yeah,
and it's the same for early release days. So those were always kind of tough when it was like, oh, and it was always you'd remember that Friday or the Thursday before the Friday of an early release day. You're like, oh,
bus breaks.
Yeah, like
what? Oh, yeah.
Hi, wasn't ready for that. Yeah. So, so we'll see how that helps with my productivity and all that. What else are we going to cover? Is that all the things?
I think that's all the things. I think we get our guests on the line, and we'll be right back.
All right.
And we're back with our guests, Heather
Hello.
and Lynn. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. How come we don't see you? Why did you want to do FaceTime? Or
No.
no? We're video now.
Right? You got to come up to the times.
Yeah.
No.
It's all right.
Not
We got a chair for you when you come to Florida.
Yeah.
Bought
It's
this
funny.
space today, though.
Aspen was texting me today because they're going to be on the podcast next month. And what did she say? She was not like talking shit, but she was saying something about Heather being on again.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Well, she's on monthly, at least. Bi-monthly.
Yeah, that's when I told her. Oh, she said, because she told me that she gives me a little special treatment, like helping me outside of like work hours. And she said, speaking of special treatment and biases, I see Heather is going to be on the show again. And she goes, she just needs to come visit now that you have the studio. And I said, she's going to move here eventually.
Who is this you're talking to?
Aspen. Oh. The laser fairy.
I forgot that you said that in the beginning.
Yeah. Same person.
Oh, we changed stories.
No.
Well, Heather was the first official video podcast.
She was. You can never take that from her.
Yeah, when she came to visit.
Yeah. So,
that's right.
Right?
No studio appearance, but
she was gonna be our first studio person as well, but the flights were so expensive and stuff like that, so it didn't work out.
And we're not flying people out yet. We don't have that many patrons.
No, we don't got that kind of money yet.
Soon, one day, hopefully.
That's right. I was the first one, Emily. Filled in my shoes.
Emily was the first one in studio, though.
Yeah, she was. Yeah,
and I did make it.
I did ask Heather. I was like, "Okay, so who's runner up?" And she's like, "Well, Mom," and like starts listing people. And I was like, "Yeah, that's true. That's solid."
So what are we talking about? You guys, I saw that you put a poll up.
I did. I put a post of some questions they wanted us to cover. So should we cover those first, or do you want to do a quick, like, you and me recap of the conference?
We can do the conference. I would say we can do the conference. That way we know how much time we have.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay.
To fill.
So
sorry, John.
Story of my life.
Yeah, she was like, I go, well, she said something like, I think she said it, or I don't remember if I said it, but she's like, oh, John won't have much to say. And I was like, what's news? What's new? So, let's talk about like your favorite moments and stuff, or whatever you want to share on the conference. Because I already kind of shared some stuff on Friday, but I'm sure as soon as you start talking, I'll have more to say.
Well, we'll breeze past the fact that I missed day one.
Oh my God, so that was rough.
And then, what am I doing? My favorite part were the attendees, and just like the vibe of the overall weekend. Like, it didn't matter like what pivots we had to make.
It did not matter what was going wrong.
Change. Everybody was just like, yay! Like, I never saw anybody like annoyed or like complaining. Like, it was just like, we're making this work. We're enjoying it. We're having fun, and like everyone mingling and just I don't know, just finally getting to know everybody and not just seeing like Facebook profile pictures.
Right.
That's what, remember Mark the one day or the one session was like, yeah, because some of you like a picture of your dog. Like,
right, where your car.
You don't know what you look like. Yeah, you know what you look like.
Well, and it was crazy just how many people would walk up to you and be like, oh my God. And you're like, hi, friend.
Like, look at their lanyard and it would be like Black Feather schedule. And I'd be like, I can't say your name.
Right. Yeah. What does your profile picture look like?
Well, that's why I originally put in the group. I was like, can I please request that we all print out pictures of our Facebook like profile pics and wear those? Because that way I'll know who everyone is.
Yep. Yeah, for next year, we should like make a rule where the attendees can't change their Facebook profile for at least a month and then use their Facebook profile pictures on their like lanyard.
Even if it's a dog, actually.
Right? No, it's fine. Because then they'll be like, oh, you're that white dog.
Right, for sure. With their name on instead of their picture, it's their profile picture.
Yeah. So then, is there any other like favorite moments or...
The after dark moments. We're talking non-conference, like vacation moments of like going to Old Town and seeing like the water side, and it was hot as a mother. Oh my God! I thought my sneakers were gonna melt to the sidewalk.
So did I? I don't think I told you. No, I might have told you. Well, it wasn't even Florida, man, babe. It was worse. Yeah, it was like, I mean. I don't typically.
It was like,
I plan ahead.
Heat that I've never felt in my life.
Yeah. So
like walking on the sun.
So walking on the sun. That's what it literally felt like. It was on the sun. Yeah. So Bud was parking the car. So first we found like meter parking, right? But then we saw that there was only like a 2-hour limit, and we were going to dinner. So it's like, okay, well, it could be 2+ hours depending on like whatever.
And you're going as a group talking.
Exactly. Yeah. And so then he sees like the parking lot that's kind of like just behind like the meter that he had parked at. Yeah. And so he goes down.
And it wasn't 2 hours in there.
Right. So it was like full day.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then, he goes and he moves the car, and Heather's like figuring out like how to pay and stuff. And I'm like, there for support, standing with my friend, figuring out how much it's going to be. I'm going to like Venmo her my half for the parking or whatever. And the sun was literally just trying to kill me. And I was like, and it like, he wasn't far, but it like, I knew it was going to be a while to like do all of it.
Right.
And I'm like,
Crystal left me.
Yeah, I did. I was like, I have to go to the shade like immediately before I die.
Was the shade close?
It was close-ish.
Okay.
But like I could see her, but it was literally like half a block away because there was literally no shade anywhere near like where we were standing, because there was it was a parking lot and like meter parking. There weren't any trees close by or no. And so
it was a weird parking lot. It didn't have like steps or like it was like below
it was like down.
And there weren't any steps, so we had to go like all the way back the way that he originally came instead of just being able to like come to where we were.
Right.
It was really weird.
Yeah. And I
was directing traffic.
Yeah. And so I mean, you've seen it's happened before. I've literally been in like direct sunlight for 5 minutes and I'll get a burn.
Right.
And like he used to kind of like think I was joking until it actually happened. I don't even remember the first time it happened, but we were at Anaisa's house, remember? And we were like in the sun where the chairs had kind of like, we were under shade, but the like sun had moved. And so then I was no longer under shade.
First time we went over.
Yeah. Okay. And so we went over, and I was literally in the sun for 5 minutes, and I was like, ooh, I need to move to the shade because now the shade is moved, so I have to chase the shade. Yeah. And so then the next day...
She chases shade.
I do. I do. And then the next day I woke up and like my neck was sunburned and I was like, look, and he was like, that happened in that amount. I was like, yes, I'm not kidding, that like if I'm in direct sunlight for too long, I literally burn. So I was like, Heather, I gotta go. I'll be right there in the shade waiting for you guys. And I literally like stared at him the whole time from the shade.
You didn't go inside to AC.
Yeah, but it wasn't even inside. It just went. There was trees like across.
She just found a tree to stand under.
I did. I was like, I don't even care if it's less hot. I just need to get out of the sun.
Bright. Like Bud came up and he was like, "Where did Crystal go?" And I was like, "I don't know. I can't see her." And she was like right across the street. Like,
yeah,
there. And I was like, "I'm blind."
I was in just like a straight line away from you guys, so I knew you'd like find me once you started walking in that direction. But I was
just like squinting and looking in the general direction that you went, and I was like, I can't see her. I was like, she's literally right there, and I was like, whatever.
You're like, good, because whatever, it's hot and miserable.
Like my retinas have been burnt into my eyes from standing out here for too long.
And then we went. So we went in the restaurant, but then it took 7 million years to like cool down. Like I could not it was like and then of course they had blinds on the windows, but they were kind of like our blinds where they're like it still lets like sun in, and it was really bright and hot. And then of course we had to have drinks, and so then you add the alcohol, and so now you're hot for several reasons. So it was a lot of just hot all the time. But and then so I mean that's basically the like after dark moment, because we went for lunch dinner,
and we saw that
the really cool like boat
Delta
thing, right?
Paddle boat. It's like an old school like real paddle boat. It's now like a hotel.
It's like a hotel restaurant.
Museum.
Yeah, it was super cool. Yeah, I'll have to show you the pictures of it because it was really cool. And then Victor's like,
and the one
I know what my next design's
security guard.
Yeah,
the security guard that was like,
he was
so random.
He was so nice. He was like telling us, oh, like you can go down there, you can go over here. Like he was like kind of like helping us out or whatever. Right. And then
he's like, if you go across the river, that's West Sacramento. Don't call me from over there. That's not my jurisdiction.
Yeah, and so that's what he said. And then Victor was like being funny, and he was like, okay, so if we get mugged on the other side, he was like, you're not coming. And he was like, no. And then I don't know if it was Victor who brought it up or if it was him.
I think it was like Victor said, like, what if I'm in the water?
Oh, what if I jump in the water? And he goes, then you're in the water. And then he goes literally off the deep end and starts sharing this horrible story about this lady who was threatening to commit suicide and like jumped off or something. I don't even know. But we were all like, okay. We're like, all right, thanks.
It just got like really silent, and I looked at Crystal and I was like, did he just interrupt our fun to tell us a story about suicide? And she's like, he sure did. And I was like, all right.
Did. Yep.
He was so nice though. It was just like a random.
Yeah, it was a random left turn for sure.
I was waiting for it to have like a super happy ending, and it didn't. And I was like,
and everybody died.
All right, cool, awesome. Just because I remembered it, let's talk about how adorable Kathy and her husband were. Like, super adorable. They were like
when they were like across the paddle boat, and I was like, Kevin, smile. Taking paparazzi photos from like.
It was such a cute photo though too. But they I don't know. They were like they held hands all the time, and they were just like. I don't know. They were attached to the hip, and it was adorable. And like, his name is Carl, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he like he's not like he doesn't know anything about like lasers and stuff. Oh, okay. So he's just literally like along for the ride, and didn't really have much to say, but was just like infatuated with Kathy. And they're freaking so cute. I think would she say like 38 years they've been together?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Insane.
That's crazy.
But total there were couple goals that they still liked each other that much after 38 years.
I was like, that's how old I am. She just like looked at me.
She was like, cool story, bro. Cool story. Any other favorite moments?
No. My least favorite moment was Will not being able to be a part of all of it. I'm still real mad about it.
The worst.
Yeah, that sucks for me over here.
Right? Yeah.
I remember Bud's reaction when Crystal like said it to me, like, and I saw like in the group chat while we were on the plane, like I looked at Bud and I was like, it's COVID. And he was like, no. Like, it was like slow motion. He was just like, no.
Right.
And she was like, he worked so hard. I was like, what? I was like, can't we just, he doesn't have COVID and put him in?
Right. Put him in a bubble in the corner.
Remember when we played bubble soccer? Like, put him in one of those bubble things?
Those things were awful. It was fun, like, for 30 minutes, and then it was no longer fun.
Not even 30 minutes.
And we signed up for a league. Oh, yeah, God, horrible. It was the worst. And then, like, you'd switch out and you'd have to get in someone else's like sweaty bubble after they I do not recommend it.
And then we
I
lost
really
every
do not
game.
recommend.
Oh God, yeah, and we lost every fucking game
we showed because up to lose.
There was which was the worst. We were like, can we forfeit? But we were all so competitive. We wanted at least one win.
No, the worst was we always played the same team and they were legit soccer
players.
And here's the other the biggest
we were all
asshole.
Fat and
the biggest asshole on their team was a server. We found out later after at the bar that a friend owned.
That we frequent all the time.
So he was there, and we thought he was just like there,
right?
And then he like brings there's that guy.
Yeah.
And then he brings the wings over. Like, wait, you work here?
Yeah.
We're
like, it's you. And he was like, he played dirty too. So we didn't like him.
Yeah, they were soccer players.
There was words.
You know how soccer players are.
Whew.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the next level.
I digress.
Yeah, back to the next level.
But yeah, like I again just want to like touch on the fact of how freaking amazing everyone was. Like to have that many people in one space and not have like one or two or like a small group of people that have like some issue with something.
Right.
It's just
like going there for drama.
Yeah. Like it's just, just the people who are never happy. Right. And there was a million reasons that we gave them to, kind of not be happy because just, there were so many things that weren't going as planned.
All the changes.
Yeah. And so like the fact that, people, when they were complaining, they weren't like real complaints. It was like, I want to go to this other class, but I can't because it conflicts with this other class that I really want to go to.
Like, they don't have this cable or
No, not at all. So like just how patient and just overly willing people were to learn and to like have 5 minutes to talk with us or that kind of stuff. And did we cover it on Friday, the laser celebrity term that they started calling us?
Yes, laser celebrity.
That's I'll never get over that either. Like
I'm never gonna. I was like, what? I was like, no, I'm just Heather over here.
Right?
Heather,
well, I sent in our group chat yesterday how I commented on someone's like reel or project or something that. And like she responds with like the shocked face, the mind blown, and she's like, what? The fact that you're commenting on my stuff? And then was like, I can't believe it or something like that. And I'm like, it legit took me like an hour to respond to her because I'm like, what do I even say? Like I'm me. I'm like, this is there's not I'm like, I don't think I'll ever get used to this reaction of like me commenting on someone's stuff because I think what I eventually said was like I said like laughed or whatever and I was like me ? ! Exclamation point. I was like I'm a nobody like because I'm just Crystal and I definitely don't have my shit together so it may look like it on social media but it's a lie.
Fake it till you make it.
I like how at the very end on that last session when we were doing the prizes and stuff they got to like really see like our group chat live.
Yeah, totally. It was our group chat live.
Like,
and how we were one-upping each other and talking shit.
We all forgot what we were giving away. Like Mark was like, Casey, what are you giving away? Casey's like, I don't know, Mark, what are we giving away? We all forgot what our giveaways were. So then we just started making shit up and we were like, I'll throw this in. And then when Julie stood up and was like, I have 27 things to give away, I almost died.
I almost thought she was serious too because she said
it
really well.
She was serious. Yeah.
It was so good. Yeah, I like now that I've kind of recovered, I want to do it again. But like not too soon, but like soon.
I'm mentally prepped for.
Yeah.
I want to go.
Prepped to be like terrified of like as soon as I got in front of the class, like not that I haven't taught before, not that I haven't like publicly spoken before. I don't even know how to say that properly, but like just the idea that like these people were literally paying $400, some of them flying across the country, to see me stand in front of a room and teach. And like the moment that I actually got up there and they were all looking at me, it was just like game face, like put it on and left the show. And it
let's go.
I was like, I originally was like, I have no idea how I'm going to fill up an hour. I have no idea, like, and then it was over before I even like I was like, Kathy, give me a halfway mark just so I don't like start rambling and like lose my way. But like it was so much less stress than I mentally prepped for.
Well, and like Mark kept telling us every time, like we'd freak out at every point, at every like step along the way, we'd like lose our minds in like anxiety and panic. And I mean, most of us would. Like there was, I mean, I don't know how many in the group chat, but like
Victor didn't panic. Victor was like, I have a 47-page testing document. And we were all like, we quit.
And I was like, okay. I finished my 2-page document at like 11 p.m. the night before I left. Yeah, and then what was it? Victor
yesterday. He asked me yesterday. He's like, "What's your handout?" And I was like, "Handout?" ? He was like, "Oh, like
he goes, "I can't find your handout in like the list of links or whatever because we put up like a Google Doc or whatever that had like all the links." And he's like, "I can't see your handout." And she was like, "Quit rubbing it in, Victor. I don't have a handout." But like every time along the way, like when we'd freak out, Mark would always be like, lean into what you know these things. We chose you because like like you're good and you know your stuff and like whatever. He's like, stop, like in a nice way, like stop freaking out, like you're good,
you're
like,
a pro,
you know this stuff. And it's like, okay, it's fine, everything's fine.
And meanwhile he's like, how do these people have a course?
he probably is, but you know, I just can't believe how like calm and collected he literally was. I'm pretty sure
he was. There were times that he was probably dying on the inside.
I'm sure, but he didn't show it at all.
I would have loved not even a bead of sweat. I would have loved to have been a mosquito. This man doesn't even have like an ounce of panic. Not an ounce.
No,
I'm like sweating at the thought of it.
Yeah, even his panic, which I could kind of tell because I mentioned it on Friday, how like when I went in there and I could tell he had calmed down, and then I asked him to like go help Heather.
And I was like, I need you.
Yeah, and like I could kind of see it on his face, but like even then, like that brief moment of like minor panic on his face is my normal face. Like it was nothing. It was nothing.
It was really good though in our sessions that like anytime that we had like obviously it wasn't in all of them, but like anytime that I was in a session with you or with Mark or with Casey, like if we needed something, it was just like eye contact to the other presenter, and the other presenter would just run. Like it would just be like an unspoken like.
Or
what
even
do you
some
need?
of the members. I saw members
off.
running down the hall, and Tabitha, she was kind of helping throughout the event.
Tabitha saved my life a couple of times.
Yeah,
Tabitha
same.
was the one that found
I was like, thank you so much, and she was so sweet. I talked to her like later on, and she was one of the few people that I would like focus on. Like when I like needed someone to look at, because that's another thing that I make weird. And like I need like, you know, you have to find that person who you feel is like engaged and listening and like, you know, happy that they're there. And so like I had like a couple people that I like, so there was two poor girls in the front that I'm pretty sure they felt like I was talking to them the whole time, because I just felt comfortable. I don't even remember their names or like really even what they looked like at this point, but like I just every time I looked at them, they like had like a friendly face on, so I like felt comfortable to like look at them each time. And it was like, and then Tabitha sat on the end, and she could tell like kind of when I was like looking around, and she'd like kind of like lean off to the side a little bit so that I could actually like see her behind, because she wasn't right like in the front. And I just thought that I just thought that was like so sweet, because it's like just little things like that that you don't think of to like ask somebody to be or do, and she just kind of like did it, and it was like, that's really cool, because it helps in the moment to not like freak out and like what as Liz says all the time, step on your dick when you're like you know, you don't know what to say, or you don't you know, you're struggling with like your train of thought, or if someone asks a question, you're like, where did I go? So yeah, just having that like just person.
That was like my first session. I was only supposed to be like, I think 20 people, and it was probably closer to like 35 maybe. Yeah. And remember I told you Amanda Levitt and her boyfriend Danny were sitting behind me. Like the way that the room was set up, like there was a table that went like off to my left, and the way that I had to sit, she was literally like staring at the back of my head the whole time. So I would just randomly do like a full pivot and look at Amanda and just smile. And then I would turn back around and go like that. So you're so awkward, but I was like, make eye contact with everybody. Right. I would just do like a full spin and be like, hi. And then I would turn back and just continue on with my lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just, I don't know. It's just everyone did really well, and it was awesome. And we're all still like giddy and happy and like just excited about it.
For the next one.
Yeah, we definitely would have loved to have you there. You would have been all over all of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There would have been a lot of content.
Yeah. And I mean, you would have been one of the like helpers and runners, and I mean, you're great at that kind of stuff. So it would have been nice to have another. Yes. Yeah. You're the one when I couldn't find all of my files when they disappeared, you know, a month or two ago. And I called you first, but that was hard because you weren't in person. You were on the phone and you were at work. So like it was hard. And then I moved on to Heather, and who, you know, my other IT help assistant. But yeah, just, you know, having that person in those moments of panic make like all the difference of, am I just going to crawl into a puddle and cry, or am I going to be okay? I'm going to be okay.
You have to be okay. We got to keep going.
Yeah.
You got to roll with the punches.
The show must go on.
That's it. That's it.
That's what I said to Mark the one day. He was like, there's just so much going on. I was like, you know what, Mark? The show must go on. He's like, exactly. We don't have any other choice. Like, it's happening. They're here. It's time.
Yeah. Well, and I loved the moment that you told me that you had with Mark when you were like, are we panicking? Is it time to panic? And he was like, We're pivoting. Okay. All right.
Man, like I was saying.
I literally to the whole room was like, let's pivot. And like everyone just like laughed at themselves. And I was like, here's what we're going to do. Like, can't do anything about it. So I was like, instead of you being able to see my hand, I'll just stand up here and pretend like this screen is my iPad.
Right. Yeah.
to see Mark's reaction when Will had to call him and tell him, so I'm not going to be there.
Oh yeah. To be like
to hear the phone call, to be there, to see his face, like. Yeah.
Just like feeling his disappointment, because he was in the hotel with us all weekend. He was just in his room, so like he would periodically like ask for like orange juice or ask for somebody.
It was the worst,
and like you couldn't get to his floor. They had the whole hotel on lockdown.
So
like,
annoying.
You didn't stay on his floor. You couldn't get to his floor.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't even like bring stuff to him if we wanted to.
Yeah, and that's honestly one of the reasons I was so glad to just be on the same floor with you, was because it's like, if I want to meet you, because the first day when we were on different floors, to meet you to get breakfast, we both had to go to the lobby and then both go up. And it's like, going into the lobby is an extra level of exposure when you're at an event with all of these people. You know what I mean? Like you can't leave your room without being like ready.
Right.
And it's like, oh, come to my room, knock on the door, you know?
About our room setup. Did you tell John how we wound up, me, you and Amanda in 801?
Oh, yeah. So I told you how she was across the hall from me, right? Yes. Well, then at one point, I heard a door close, and I went to go look out my like people thing to see if it was forgot her name for a second, Heather or Bud, and it wasn't. And then I saw like this, like it was kind of like a flashy shirt, right? Well, then later I see Amanda's boyfriend in a flashy shirt, and it was like, I mean, not flashy, but it was like pink and purple, like tie dye or something like that. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, are you in, it was like 804, 80 whatever. Right. And I was like, are you in 801 or 804? And he was like,
yeah. 801, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, he was like, yeah. And I was like,
and she was like 802. And I was like, 803.
Yeah. We were literally like, and didn't even know it for like the first day. We didn't know it at all.
Right.
And then it was like the next day, like the first, morning that I spent in that room. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd seen him like walking out and I was like, oh, we're right next to each other. That's cool.
This big ass hotel. And somehow the three of us lined up literally side by side.
Yeah. Couldn't plan that if you wanted to. Then it would be.
Crystal finagled her way on the floor.
Well, wait, Crystal, did you tell John about how they gave your room away?
Yes, she did.
Yeah. Did we talk about that?
I don't think you talked
about it.
Oh man, let's talk about that. So, this hotel wasn't without its quirks, we'll say, and so I had a bed issue on the first day. That sounds weird. The frame was a lot bigger than like the mattress, so I would go to sit on it.
You had a king size frame and a queen size mattress.
Oh, pretty much. It whatever. It didn't math. It didn't work. And so I go to sit down, and then all of a sudden I'm laying down, and I'm like, "What just happened?" And then I look.
So it's the other way around. King size bed on a queen size.
No. It was inside. The frame was bigger than the mattress.
Like fell through.
Yeah. And so there was no like frame underneath the edge when I went to go sit down. And it's funny because I thought it was like just my body being dramatic. But then when Liz had come to my room at one point and the same thing happened to her, and I was like, see, it's not just me. And so, I mean, that was like, okay, whatever. I was like, let me sleep on this and see like if it's really an issue or not. And I kind of slept towards the middle, which I planned to do anyway with a bed by myself, and it was fine. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to change rooms over this. I'll just deal with it. And then the next day, when I went to shower, my shower was broken. It literally only turned to cold. And I've taken a cold shower when if to your hand it feels not too bad, but then to your body, then it's like I'm gonna die. So I was like, I know that's not an option right now.
Right.
And so I called them and I was like, so shouldn't the handle control the temperature? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, cool. It doesn't.
Right. No hot water in my room. So I'm gonna need a
she came up. Maintenance, of course, wasn't available, and of course, this is the morning before my presentation because it wouldn't be any other day. Yes. And so she comes up and whatever. And then I ended up having to shower in like another room down the hall and then go back to my room and to get ready. But so because of that, I had stopped by the desk at one point and I was like, hey, is my shower fixed? And they're like, yeah, I think so. And then I told them about the bed thing and I was like, hey, for the next person who stays there, like the frame's a little weird and whatever. And she's like, do you want to switch rooms? And I was like, sure. And I was like, is there anything available on the 8th floor? And she was like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. And then she basically, I didn't know where it was. She just said it was near the elevator. And I was like, okay, awesome. Because I knew that Heather and Bud were near the elevator as well. And so it was during Heather's class and I wanted to be there, for at least some of it. And so I just moved I hadn't unpacked much. And so I just moved my stuff into the room, set it there, and then went back to her session. Right. And so we were in her room after like the day was done, basically. And I think we were figuring out like where we were going to go for dinner or whatever. Right. And Bud had he went and grabbed dinner because we were starving. Yeah,
he went and got In-N-Out.
Yeah, so he went and got In-N-Out, and
you had In-N-Out.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was okay. Oh. Like it was good, but it wasn't like, oh my god, you missed out. You didn't. Okay. You didn't miss anything.
The burger was seasoned really well. That was the thing. The fries were meh, but the burger was seasoned very well.
Yeah. And so
it was good, but it was and it was only $27.
Yeah.
For all three of you?
Yes.
Including burgers, fries, and drinks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was what was shocking the most.
Me and Crystal were like, wait, what?
Yeah, my freaking Dunkin' that I ordered alone was $20. So like
the burgers were like $3.50. The fries were like $1 or something. Like it was like ridiculously cheap.
Yeah.
And I was like, no wonder people love this shit.
Right. No wonder there's a line on the door.
Because it's decent and cheap.
Right.
Yeah. And so he comes back with the food, and we're like just talking at one point, and I don't know how I even like mentioned it, but I was like, oh, talking, I'm across the hall now. And he was like, he's like, I saw somebody in that room.
Crystal, remember you went and you tried to use your key.
Oh yeah. So I went to go try and put something.
Oh no.
And the key wouldn't work.
Oh.
Yeah. I tried to go. Yeah. He went to the liquor store too. So I tried to go put my leftover, like the stuff I wasn't going to take down to the pool with us. I tried to go put it in the fridge, and like it's yellow, and my key wouldn't work. So I had to go back.
She came back
room.
in mad as fuck. She was like, "Oh, this is fucking great."
Right.
I'm like, "Fucking key doesn't work."
Yeah.
And Bud, what did Bud say?
Yeah. So he goes. He was like, I said something like across the hall, and he was like, wait. He was like, so no, I just saw 2 people in there, and I was like, no, you didn't.
Like directly across the hall.
And I was like across the hall, like, and I'm like, like visually, like across.
Like
and I'm like
door.
making sure that and so I verified like 3 different times, like you don't mean like diagonal, you were really talking about the same door.
Unfold.
Like if you open the door,
and she's like across the hall, and Bud's like, yeah, across the hall. Crystal's like straight across the hall, and I was like, Crystal, you're both talking about the same room. Like,
I was in denial.
Accept it.
Yeah, and I like looked at both of you, and I was like, I don't know what to do.
I was like, don't panic. I was like, call the front desk. Don't panic.
Yeah,
and she was like, oh my god, I'm gonna freak out. I was like, not yet. You're gonna call the front desk. And you can freak out when you're done.
Oh my god. And so I call, and I'm like, and then he goes, they did look pretty confused. And I was like, yeah, because my fucking shit's in the room. Like all of my stuff is in there. And and I had offloaded everything because my presentations were done. So my computer was in there, my iPad, like my wallet, like
everything was in there.
All of my shit was in there.
Your whole life?
Yeah, my whole entire life. Yeah. And so I called to the front desk, and I was like, hey, so I was moved to 803 or whatever, and I was like, and my key didn't work, and my friend across the hall told me that they saw 2 people in my room. She was like, I'm so sorry. She's like, apologizing, and then she's like, there, I don't know what happened in the system or whatever, but it didn't get moved over completely or whatever, and she's like, again apologizing, and she's like telling me to come downstairs, and I'm like, I didn't say anything, but I, like in my head I'm like, you don't want me to come downstairs.
You just kept saying, okay, but my stuff is
in
the room, and I was like, and all I hear is like her side of the conversation, and I'm like, all I think is like, oh my god, they have all of her shit at the desk. Oh my god, they have
she got kicked out.
Like,
and
oh my god, where is everything?
And so I just kept repeating how all of my stuff is in there, and people were just in my room. And then so I think she took that as like, okay, she's like,
she's not coming.
Yeah, she's like, I'll head up with some new keys, and I'll be right up or whatever. And she comes up, and like we open the door, and I see her with like 2 waters in her hand. Now, mind you, this place they don't provide water.
Give us water.
You have to buy water. None. So like we're all dehydrated, thirsty as fuck. We're drinking. Water. Yeah, we're drinking. It's hot. Yeah. So we're all thirsty, and there's no like water that's provided.
There's no like water machine. There's no ice.
There's ice.
There's ice, but no water.
Oh.
So that you have faucet, or you buy their water.
Buy water.
Yeah.
So she comes up with 2 waters.
So she comes up with 2 waters, and
like
I looked at her.
Or like
the regular size. They weren't the little ones, but they were just regular size
8
water
ounce.
bottles.
The 16.9 ounce one.
Yeah.
Okay, 16. Yeah.
So she
and the breakfast voucher.
Yeah. Well, that's the breakfast voucher is what saved her life. So and mind you, I didn't even use it. But if she was just going to hand me 2 waters for the fact that 2 people were just in my room, I like looked at her, and when she handed me the waters, and I was like, I'm like, wait, there better be more in your pocket, lady, because and so then
you better inform me that you're comping the room or comping a day or something.
And I couldn't even really like complain for that because they covered it for us. The Mark and Will.
Right.
So
you better be comping Mark and Will.
Right? Something. And so so then we go over into my room, and they did touch my stuff.
Of course, they probably moved it off.
Right. Well, they moved my iPad like off of like the box that had like the keychain thingies.
Containers.
Yeah. And so And I knew that they did because my pencil was not attached to my iPad anymore. And I know me, and that's not something I ever do because that's how I'll lose it. Right. Especially around, 2 kids and whatever. Yeah. And so the pencil was sitting on top of the iPad, and I was like, somebody touched my shoe. But thankfully everything was there and whatever. And I didn't even use the comped breakfast because, again, it was me, okay, I have comp breakfast. Who's going to go sit with me now? I
would have used it.
You would have gone by yourself. You like to sleep in, though. When we go on vacation, I'm peeling you out of bed in time for breakfast to be served.
That was before the 2 kids.
Especially there, because it was our normal, it's so much earlier that I couldn't adjust to it. I was I'm waking up at noon. We slept
so late,
starving.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, especially there when the time zones and it's so much earlier, true. And especially without 2 kids who aren't waking you up at 7 a.m. Yeah. Let me tell you, it was a lot easier to sleep in. Okay, I did go to bed a lot later and had drank the night before, but still, it was a lot easier to sleep in when you don't hear.
Did you tell them about the Dunkin' Donuts with the iced tea and the
what?
Coffee? The Dunkin' Donuts order.
Oh my God! Every fucking day it was wrong. Every day.
What's new? What else?
The first day they completely.
Crystal ordered an iced coffee. Bud ordered an iced tea. Now Crystal is loaded with creamer and shit, so we knew
creamer and flavoring.
That one of them was wrong.
Yeah.
So Bud thought that the iced tea was iced tea, so he went down and there was no iced coffee. So then Bud went down to get Starbucks for Crystal, and there were these 45 gypsy children or whatever they were running amok. Crawling on people and grabbing people,
ordering
stuff,
all this stuff, and so he was in this huge line again. Day of my presentation, I have 0 coffee.
He got her an iced coffee, and then when he went upstairs to drink his iced tea was iced coffee, and he was like, "I fucking quit."
Yeah. And then the next day, they forgot a sandwich. I got my iced coffee, but it was still wrong. It tasted like pure crap. Yeah. So it was Dunkin' was great. It was good times.
The last time we went to Dunkin' here, they gave us croissants instead of bagels.
No, it's true. They always screw something up. But we still keep going back.
Dunkin' nationwide is just a mess.
Yeah.
I feel like anytime you have to order something from Dunkin', you're guaranteed to get something wrong.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, that's funny. Yeah, we didn't cover that on Friday. That was a heart attack that I could have really done without. It was I have a lot of really expensive stuff in that room, and if they weren't trustworthy, and what was annoying too was that because I had literally just dropped my stuff and gone. The second you opened the door, you saw my huge purple luggage. It was literally right past the door. Right. And so it's you didn't really need to enter any further than that. But, you did.
I mean, I feel like if we would have opened the door and seen people's stuff in our room, we would have gone down back to the front desk there's people's stuff in the room. So the fact
that they went kind of around my luggage, and then my iPad was on the nightstand, so they went all the way and then touched it, and I was like, okay, you didn't take anything, but you didn't have to go that far either.
Why wouldn't you go downstairs, and be like, yo, someone's stuff is in the room,
yeah. Well, no, what if I was in there? You know what I mean? That would have been real fun.
I kind of wish that you were in there watching TV or something.
That happened to me. Where were we?
It was one of the work Christmas parties, I think,
with my sister. And thankfully it was my sister, or I walked in.
You walked into
into my sister's room.
Names, because I think the last names were maiden names or something.
I don't know.
Remember, but yes, it happened to you at the Sheridan.
Yeah,
at the Sheridan downtown.
They gave me keys to my sister's room, and I literally, thankfully, again for them, it was my sister.
Right.
When my sister had just gotten out of the shower, and she was again, thankfully, mostly dressed, but I walked in to my sister's room not expecting a person, and we were hi, what the fuck? Yeah.
And I don't know why you got there before me, or why. I don't remember.
You were probably parking the car doing something like that, because that's always what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's where it happened to you.
Yeah. It's just that black cloud. It's my life.
So what are the questions that people have?
How much time do we have left? Do we have enough time to?
Probably another 20, 30 minutes maybe. Okay. I don't know.
Of course, it timed out on me, so let me find it again. Doobie.
Yeah, we have like 20, maybe 20 minutes left, right?
Okay. So, I found it. So, let's see. What's the first question? I want to know how to get the word out. So, this is Camille. And she said, I want to know how to get the word out about your business if you're not social media savvy. You got any tips for that, Heather? We kind of suck at that, but we're trying to get better.
If you're not
social media? I
social
was going to say
media?
that's the problem these days. Is not the problem, but like the main thing these days is social media.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and I mean, so just think about it. Think when we first started, we had Emily who had already kind of been doing it. And so we started like the reels and the TikToks and stuff. And we had her to kind of like walk us through like how to do certain things if there was something we wanted to do. So having her helped because it was like, oh, I want to do this. How do you do this? Or if we saw her do something in a reel or TikTok, we'd be like, how'd you do that? Like the green screen ones where they put like a picture behind them and that kind of stuff. So it really was just like, if you knew what you wanted to do, if you saw someone else do it, it was finding someone or Googling literally how to do this on
I was
Instagram
just gonna say, like I would find like a trendy like entrepreneur or something, and just like scroll their feed and be like, how do you do that? Or like the pages that give tutorials. Yeah,
those are great. Follow those for sure. Yeah, the tutorials or the tips or use this audio or those kind of things.
And then it gives you like the countdowns and like how to time your music up and like all that stuff.
Yeah, I think. And beyond that, then it just comes down to just doing it. The more you do them, the more you practice, the more you work on it, you'll get better at them just over time because you're doing them more.
Well, also, like I would say pick one first.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you think of Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
It can be a lot.
It could be overwhelming. You got to do a reel here. You got to do a TikTok there.
Well, use the same content for both.
But I would say start off with like
choose one,
Instagram or TikTok, let's say.
Whichever one you kind of gravitate to more to.
Whichever one you feel is easier and like kind of like master that one and then move from there.
Yeah.
And like you said, use the same content, but on a different platform and familiarize yourself with that platform that way.
One note to put on that, when you finish a reel or a TikTok and like it saves automatically to your phone or whatever, if you have that like setting, it now has the logo of Instagram or TikTok. So you need to save it before you actually post it, or there's apparently apps that can like remove those logos, or you can like crop it, but then that kind of will mess up like the distortion sometimes.
Well, I would say
the apps that do the logo removal work really well.
Okay, yeah. Like if you
forget, Snapchat, SNAPTIK is the TikTok one.
Okay.
And then the Instagram one is, I have to look it up, but we can put it in the group. There's one that's on Instagram and it looks really well.
Okay. Yeah. So you want to make sure to remove those logos because if you post like your Instagram reel with the Instagram logo at the bottom on TikTok, they're not going to show that as much because they don't want obviously their competitor's logo on their feeds.
Right.
So
of course.
You want to remove that if you can. Let's see what else. Perhaps talk about Lightburn software, little things you wish you had thought about prior to getting your laser. My Mira 7 will be here in November. I want to be a little ready. So I'm going to skip the Lightburn one because we have another Lightburn question after this one. So for me personally, getting ready for the machine. So depending on what you're buying, if you're buying like a Mira, if you're not getting the stand that's provided, you want to make sure to build one.
Right.
And obviously it needs to like hold 500 pounds. It needs to be able to move because you need to get to the back to like do things and like service it. Right. So that was huge in preparing that before it got here. And I think it's like a 6-month wait right now. That goes really quick.
Yeah.
Like when you're just living life.
Right.
So don't put it off until the last minute, because it'll all of a sudden they'll be like, okay, it's ready. And you're like, oh, all right. Now I have no stand to put it on.
Right.
And then
learn Lightburn.
Yeah, that was going to be my next one. Was learn Lightburn, or learn your design software, or sign up for one of our courses and you can get some design practice in. Or with Emily's, course, you can get more familiar with like, what are things called and how do they work? And then that way, when it shows up, it's not this scary machine with all of these different pieces that you don't know what they're called. You have like this kind of background or understanding when it gets there. Right. And then kind of the light bulbs may not necessarily click when you're going through it, but once you you're able to put it into practice, they'll come quickly, because it'll already be kind of like familiar.
Yeah, you'll have the theory down, and now you're practicing.
Right.
Yeah.
Really, that's it. Just materials. Grab some materials here and there, as you can afford them. Have like different things on hand, if you want to work with wood, have a couple of, different types, plywood, maybe some of the fancier stuff. Get, maybe like a sample pack of acrylic, definitely 3M. Do not procrastinate on trying 3M because of the price. You can buy it, I think most of them sell them by the sheet as well, if you don't want to go all in and get one of the like expensive rolls. But buy a couple sheets and just have it on hand and try it. And first try glue. Then it'll be a good comparison.
Don't even try glue.
But they need to know, they need to understand the struggle, to understand. Just do it once. Don't listen to Heather. Try glue once and you'll see why. Because it seeps out. It either doesn't adhere properly. If it does seep out, it might be a different color.
Takes your soul away.
Yeah, it does. It really does. So just take your soul away once on a small, simple sign, and then you'll understand our obsession of 3M. So get you some. And then get you some blanks. One of our favorites is obviously Will, Crazy Laser Dad. So get you some of his blanks. Try something out. He now has a sample pack that he comes out with, I think, at the beginning of every month.
Okay.
So that's a good way to kind of like get a bunch of different miscellaneous things to try. Be ready to mess things up. I think that's what I wasn't prepared for, was that having to cut things several times. And here's a tip that in my frustration, when things didn't cut through, I didn't like think it through necessarily. It wouldn't cut through. I'd adjust the settings and I'd go to cut the whole thing again. And then I'd waste like either the rest of that board or a whole nother board or whatever. And it's like, take a small piece of that, or take one thing that Kathy recommends is doing a star. So cutting a star with, new settings, or, pin down your settings, see if there's other issues going on, if something doesn't cut through. And then once you get a good cut, through with maybe some adjusted settings, then try like either a bigger piece of the project or the whole thing, if you're really feeling like you got it figured out.
Right.
But I did that way more times than I'd like to admit and wasted a bunch of extra material that I probably just didn't really need to waste, because I'd think, oh, okay, I just need to bump up the speed. And then I'd go to cut it again and that didn't work either. And it's like, well, now I just wasted the whole thing because I didn't just try a little piece.
Right. Can you save settings?
Yes.
So if you have like a wood setting,
in both Glowforge and in Lightburn, you can save your settings. Say you need to. So Glowforge comes with like presets, and so Glowforge you can like they didn't at the time. I think they do have it now, but when I had a Glowforge, they didn't have like settings for cardboard yet, or cork, or that kind of stuff. And so, or like the silicone watch bands. And so I had saved settings of, silicone watch band or cork or whatever. Whatever and then I was able to select that, and I had my my speed and power settings for all of that already in there. And same with Lightburn. And Lightburn, it goes by color. So like black is my acrylic engrave setting, and red is my 1/8 inch acrylic cut, and pink is, I think, my 1/4 inch acrylic cut. So you can have that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's like 27 or 30 or I don't know. There's lots to choose from. So, and I mean, you can set up like libraries and like sections and all this stuff too. And I haven't gotten that fancy, right. But it's there. So I actually need to go watch that section of Emily's course, because I haven't done that yet. I've literally just saved them as that color. She was like, "Oh, go down to here and go under wood and then go under here." I was like, "What? What is all this?"
All these subcategories.
Yeah, there's so much in Lightburn that I don't know, because again, I use it to run the machine and nothing else, because I haven't really like needed to yet. But yeah, learning that and watching tutorials and stuff will really, really set you up and make it less scary. Do you have anything else as far as machine prep? She's still there.
Did she leave?
Can you not hear me?
I can now. You were gone for a second.
She's doing it again.
I'm right here. I was like, I'm talking. Why can't anyone hear me?
What I am glad is
all I was saying is
I'm glad the ghost didn't talk for you, though. That was so fucking creepy. I know.
Don't want the lights to go out.
Please don't fuck with the light, ghost. We're almost done. Okay, so did you say if you had anything else?
I did. I said you got everything, I think. Okay. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
What is that noise? Is that a dog?
Me?
No, it stopped.
Okay.
That. I think it's a dog.
Might be a dog.
Ghost.
And he's like, "I'm over here, y'all." Okay, so then the next one. Top 5 or top 10 lists. Oh, those always perform well. So she said top 5 things every laser owner should know about Lightburn, or 10 Lightburn hacks for laser owners. We might have to get back to her on that one. Because again, I use my Lightburn. I use mine differently than most people. Like, I don't ever use my controller. So I think like my top thing about Lightburn is the fact that I can just click start and my machine fires and don't listen to Heather.
Why not?
Yeah,
because every tech tells us not to do
every tech tells you guys the wrong thing.
Okay.
Because
okay,
every
so
single
here
human I teach that to is like, oh my god, that's a fetus. The techs don't like it because usually the machine is in another room. So the idea is that you're not hitting start on a machine for the machine to fire off in your garage.
So just the disclaimer is that potentially sometimes...
I always say if you're sitting next to your machine, there's zero reason to use your controller when you're on your computer.
Yeah.
I never use my controller, ever.
So some people have had issues with if they just hit start. What's her name? Alicia, when she ruined that gun stock, she hit start from the computer, and instead of
her drive
sending it, who knows? I have no idea.
Too many files on your controller too, which never happens if you don't send it to your controller.
So I send, and I mean my laser is literally right behind me, but I just won't do it because the cloud, and it would happen to me on something that I really need it to not happen to, and it's just my habit now. I've already made the habit of not doing it.
The day I realized I didn't have to hit send, I was like, hallelujah.
So I hit send to the laser, and then I go to, you saw when we did Tumblr, so then you pull up the file and then load it that way.
It's all extra. It's all extra work. We work.
Okay, if you mess something up, you know who to call. Heather Lynn.
Just got to make sure your red dot's in the right spot and you're framing from the right place.
Yeah, see, and I wouldn't do that. It gives me sending it to the laser gives me another chance to make sure, am I in the right spot? Did I really frame it? Did I focus on this material? Because that was another thing I did when I was at Emily's house when cutting out that sign. Everything was going very well, so I had to find a way to screw it up, and so I switched from I went from 1/4 inch that was cutting all the frame parts to then cutting 1/8 inch for the last piece, and that's of course when I didn't autofocus, so I went from cutting a thicker material to a thinner material, and so it didn't, and it was further away, so the focus wasn't right. And so I had to do 2 passes on it, so the edges weren't as clean as they would have been had I autofocused again and not forgotten to fix that. What else? So definitely save your settings. Whether you get fancy with adding like a library and like all these like fancy lists and folders and stuff, save your settings, because there's no reason to have to like remember all of them. And you think you will, and then you'll have one day of testing like me today with these tumblers, and you'll have so many numbers in your head. You won't remember which one worked, depending on how well you were at like labeling your tests.
Or you'll misremember and think that it was this.
And then it's basically you did all that work for nothing, because now you don't remember which one actually worked well. So yeah, definitely save your settings, whether you're in Glowforge or Lightburn. Lightburn.
You want to save your machine settings too if you're on a commercial Lightburn machine settings. That way you can switch back and forth between flat settings and rotary settings easily.
And then another one I had was there's a little, if you're using text in Lightburn, there's this little toggle that you can turn on, and it'll automatically weld your text when you type it out in there. So that's pretty cool, because that's one thing. I'm going to call out Michael. Sorry if you're listening. So he showed me one of his projects while we were at one of the conference after dark nights, and he showed me this cutting board that he made, and it looked really good, but the name wasn't welded. And I was like, don't tell him. And so when you don't weld a font, it has these little like tails that like attach to make it like seamless. Well, when they overlap, that part that it overlaps, it doesn't engrave. So you see those little tails on, and they're not super noticeable, but there's something I obviously notice immediately. And so I was like, don't tell him. I was like, wait, we're at a laser conference where people are here to learn. And I was like, okay, I have to tell him. And I was like, this looks great. I was like, but you forgot to weld like your word. And he was like, he like didn't even know like what that meant. And I was like, oh, okay, what program are you in? He was in Inkscape. So I was like, oh, we'll have to look up and see what that is in Inkscape. I was like, but it's literally right click weld in Silhouette. And I think, what is it? Union in Illustrator?
Unite.
Oh, I always mix those two. So yeah, it's Unite in Illustrator.
Which, by the way, you just mentioned him. He's an AI for Laser student now.
Oh, nice. Well, congrats, Michael. So he'll learn that from Heather here in a little bit. Yeah, so it was funny. So he did that. But in Lightburn, they have this fancy little toggle that, like, as soon as you type out a word that has any kind of overlap, it will do that portion for you. So you don't even have to think about it. And then...
Another good Lightburn tip is the default DPI in Lightburn is 96, which is what Inkscape exports to, but Illustrator exports to 72 DPI. So you can actually change that. So a lot of people will say, well, not a lot, but sometimes you'll see like, oh, I bought this on Etsy and it's supposed to be this size.
Yeah, 6 inches and now it's 4.
Yeah. Like this size. And it's because of the fact that the designer designs in Illustrator, because I see it all the time.
You said it was just...
When people are like, "Oh, this file is too small," and I'm like, "Okay, well, you don't have to yell at me. You just have to figure setting."
Right. Okay, but show me this first, and let me show you how you're wrong.
Right. And then they're like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Exactly. Having sex. Love you."
Yeah.
Don't yell at me.
Right. And then there was another one. Oh, what was the other one? Oh, I've never tried it. So when I brought the one that didn't cut well to Emily's house. What did you say?
Are you talking about print and cut?
No. So I'm talking about where you can like salvage a cut. So I showed I brought it as like scrap. I was going to use the rest of the acrylic that was like left over, but I was showing her like how it didn't cut through or whatever. Right. And she was like, do you want to save this? Do you want to try and save this? I was like, no, I'm over it. And also I had changed the size because when I tested it and I test cut it at 10 and it failed, I also realized that it was a little bit bigger than I really wanted it to be. So I sized it down to 8. So there was no point in me saving the 10-inch cut because I was sizing it down to 8 anyway. But that's another light burn feature that's available. I've never even tried it. But it's there.
The print and the print and cut.
Okay, well that's the print and cut.
It's the best feature for people who have those issues like you said where you got to cut all the way through because you can actually line your cut back
up because as soon as you move it, you're in most worlds you're fucked. Yeah.
Right. Unless you were like cornering to like one of the corners and then you can put your sheet exactly back where it was.
Which is almost impossible.
Which I never do. I would say which I never do. I always just float it in the middle because why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, when I first saw them come out with that, I was like, oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Like, would be really helpful in a Glowforge because that's usually when I
oh my God, right?
Cutting, never with my neon.
Yeah, you always moved it first, or is like that was the time you didn't pin it down.
Because as soon as you open the lid on the Glowforge, you're screwed.
Yes.
You couldn't even like check
to
see if it was cut through because then you already
that is I used it today, the pause feature on Lightburn. Like there's a pause on Glowforge now. So when I got the Glowforge, there was no pause. It was like cancel or nothing. Right. Huh?
You hit the power button and it paused.
No, Heather, I'm telling you, that did not exist when I got my Glowforge. I remember when they added it. Pause was not a thing. It was cancel or go to the end.
Because that pause button was my best friend when I got my machine.
Oh, yeah.
I loved that because I could run downstairs.
But the difference between the pause on the Glowforge and the pause on Lightburn, I don't think this has changed, but it paused it, but if you open the lid, you've now canceled it. You can't pause it, open the lid, like check something, move something. Like that time that I had a bug on my 2.5-hour engrave, I couldn't pause it, open the lid, shoo him away, and like go back. No, it was, you could pause it like if you had to go pee. Yeah, but on the Eon and in Lightburn, you can pause it. I can open the lid, check something,
and it pauses.
And then close it, and then start it again. So it actually, like, for real pauses the job. And the lid opening doesn't cancel it.
I would say I usually just open my lid because I always forget that there's, like, a real pause. I'm just like, if I had to do something, I just flip the lid open. And somebody the one day was like, wait, you can open the lid? And it was like, oh yeah, and it'll pause, and then you just close the lid, hit enter, and it starts right back up again.
Oh, so it pauses it immediately if you forget to hit pause?
Yeah, to hit pause and just open the lid, it pauses your job. Oh. And then you can just close the lid again and hit enter, and it picks right back up. I do it a lot when I'm recording reels with tumblers, because like I usually don't want to leave the lid open like the whole time.
Right.
Like sometimes I just want to like grab like a clip of like the beginning or like the end. Just remember, if you are recording with your lid open, to wear your eyewear, and don't shut your lid if you have a magnet on your sensor.
Yeah, if you trip the sensor. I did it too, but thankfully, unlike Emily, I had those thin little magnets.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so when I did, John was like, magnet. And yeah, I still closed it, but thankfully it didn't break anything.
I'll close the lid, and then when I raise the lid back up, the magnet's now on the lid, and it's not on the sensor anymore. And I'll be like, damn it. I actually cracked the magnet the other day doing that.
I love how you still do it. It's such habit. It's really hard not to. So yeah, if you trip the sensor, be careful.
Especially if you're like, because that's what a lot of times when I'm recording reels, it's just like 1, 2, like I'm just like getting it done quickly. Yeah. And I'm like, damn it. Like, or I'll like take my glasses off while the machine is still running and be like, fuck. Put my glasses back on. Shit, if the dog's still outside.
I had one more, and I think I forgot it. I think it's gone.
It's gone.
If I remember it, I'll let y'all know. Okay. So, do we have time for one more? Or should we save it?
Let's do one more.
Depends on what it is.
So she said one topic that she's been researching is branding and packaging. Tips like using Vistaprint postcards inside poly bags for ornaments, or how some people design a business card to be a little card that they attach earrings to. She has several. What can thermal printers offer other than printing labels? You know, Madison, she's a patron, and she's also just really good at like helping with shit. And
is it Madison
Bellinger? Yes, her. Yeah,
I knew it was her.
You what?
I like her.
Yes.
I said I knew it was her. As soon as you said Madison, I was like, I know it is.
Yeah. So for branding and packaging, I actually just finally got my keychain thingies packaging together. And so I have, my keychain thingies logo, and I have that on the actual like keychain thingies package. And then I put the keychain thingies in a bubble packet, a bubble like envelope kind of thing, and then I put another sticker on there. Now I make all of my own stickers on my expensive sticker printer. So all of my packaging ones I do, not like my giveaway ones. Those I get from Sticker Mule, with the weekly deals. We are
Sticker Mule addicts.
We are.
Do you still get Sticker Mule?
Not nearly as much.
Yeah,
I've gotten better, but you'll see in a second where there's there's tons that I need to catch up on.
I don't have a fancy sticker printer. I just have a bestie in Florida that prints it for me.
Well, you don't print. You don't send a lot of physical products, so you don't really need a sticker.
I send zero.
Yeah,
zero.
So, so then I have another sticker that goes on the bubble wrap, and that has my QR code to my Linktree. And
don't forget the card.
Oh yeah, and my customers have really liked that, and my returning customers have gone up really, are really good. I think I have something like 38% or 40% returning customers, which it's a really good number. And so I have the scratch off where on my sticker printer I print out several different coupon amounts, and I have the coupon amount and the code that they can use, and then I put the scratch off. So I got business cards made with my design with a little 1-inch circle for the code, and then I get 1-inch scratch offs from Amazon, and so then I put that on there, and it's like a thank you. So then they get to use that on their next order to get a discount on the keychain thingies. And then, the scratch off goes inside the little bubble wrap envelope. And then on the outside of the package, I've also gotten really good feedback on that. So I'm goofy, snarky, funny. So on the outside of my package, it says, it has a big warning symbol. And it's warning, awesome keychain thingies inside, or something like that. And so people like the it's funny, they know what the package is, they
at first glance they know
gives
exactly
them a little
what
laugh before they open it. But it's all obviously similar branding colors, similar fonts, look and feel. They're all different, but they all go together. So that's definitely and then what else did she ask? So Vistaprint is a good suggestion, especially if you do. It's hard because we don't have a lot of physical product recommendations because the two of us don't do.
We don't like them.
Yeah. But some people have done really cute cardboard packaging where they either cut with their laser or cut with a scissor, and they kind of make a little pocket with it to hold, I've seen them do it with pencils, with bookmarks, drink stirs, that kind of stuff, and then put it in those self-sealing cellophane bags, and it kind of just gives you a good cohesive packaging.
I use cardboard to package my cake toppers.
Your cake toppers. It's super clutch. So I used to do that too with like the different layers. So with the cake toppers, you have like one solid layer, right, of cardboard. Right. And then the next layer is literally just the cutout of the cake topper to hold it. Mm-hmm. And so that helps it, keep it like stable and between. And then for her top layer, what she does is she tapes it on the side. Mm-hmm. And so it makes it like a book. When you open it, right? And I always just like taped it around the whole side, and I was like, well, now it's nicely sandwiched and packaged together.
Ain't going anywhere.
Right? Yeah. But doing it like a book, it kind of like it gives it that extra like feel, like it's cardboard packaging,
love
but
it
looks
I'm like,
nice.
It's an Amazon box.
Yeah,
love it. So cool.
I mean, it's just Well, and again, like I was already doing that as well, but not doing the like tape on the side part, and it just really like it's a minor change, but it really makes a difference in like how it kind of looks. And then she'd do one of her sticker mule stickers on the top for her branding. For one person. No, a couple people. So one person, I was making it for their birthday. And so I engraved like happy birthday and their name, scored it. I scored it on the cardboard. Okay. So I scored that information on the top of the cardboard. And then another one, I put like his logo. Because I knew, people love their logo and on everything.
I mean, they put a lot of time and effort into it. Yeah.
So engraving his logo on there, I'm pretty sure he kept the cardboard because he's like, it's so cool. And I'm like, it's cardboard. But he doesn't care. Right. So your cake topper. And that would be great for, especially if you have like a fragile ornament.
That's the reason I did it. Because like all my stuff is local pickup. And I'm like, I usually throw it in the mailbox, but I was just putting it, like you said, in one of those self-sealing like cellophane wrappers, and then inside a poly mailer, just like with their name, and keeping it in my mailbox. Which honestly, I never had an issue. But like, every time I put it out there, I'm like, they're gonna grab it the wrong way, or like they're just gonna pull it up.
When you never want to remake it,
And it's like I'm like. I know somebody's going to grab the shit out of the mailbox the wrong way and just have it happen. I'm going to be like, this is not my problem.
Yep.
It was whole when I put it in there.
Yeah.
That was just like the one day I was like, you know what, let me just try this out. And I did that reel. It was like one of the cake toppers I did reel and it blew up. And I was like, dude, it's just
everyone's like, mind blown.
Yeah. So now it's like part of like, now I do reels, and anytime I do a cake topper reel, like it always ends with like me throwing it in a couple pieces of cardboard. And people love themselves some cardboard.
Yep.
So I'm like,
but it's what you do with the cardboard, Heather, that's important. And like she said, I don't have a lot of good advice on it because I don't use them. And I don't really make earrings as much anymore, but, the getting a business card, but making a space, making it so that like it's a business card, but it also looks nice as an earring holder. So there's like templates and stuff that you can buy if you're not sure like spacing or like where the hole should go or whatever. And I think there's even like hole punches that you can buy that turn like a piece of cardboard into now an earring holder. And so you can
with
put
like the little flaps that like pop out to put like the earrings in.
Exactly. Yeah. And so then you can put like your information on the back, maybe a little logo on the front so that they can see it on the front. But then that's where you put the earring, and then all of your information is, on the other side or whatever. And I think we'll save the thermal printer one for next time.
Yeah.
So
everybody just go get you a Rolo.
Yes.
We'll talk about it next time. Yes. You're all
save
prepared.
It for next time. And like I've mentioned it before, it's one of the first major business purchases I made, and major because it was about $200, and that's major when you're first starting out. Yeah. Because I mean, there was times where I only had like $200 or $300 in my business account. So like spending $200 on a printer, it was like, okay, that was unnecessary. Right. But it really was one thing I wish I didn't procrastinate on. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And we'll tell you why in more ways than one on the next one. Yes. Coming up on the next episode with Heather. So I love these like answering their questions kind of thing. So definitely, if you guys think about them, post them on the feed, send me a message if you don't want to post it on the feed. Find one of these old posts where, you know, I asked for questions and suggestions, and give us some for the next time. Because if you haven't noticed already, we have Heather on bi-monthly.
Right.
So she'll be on. She'll be on again. When would that be? October? Yes, October.
Yeah,
so
my birthday month. Wait, is Aspen a listener? She's a listener, right? So she'll hear this.
I think so.
Now we have to tell her why I said that.
Yeah.
Aspen should be on with us next time. Or one of the times.
Yeah, that would be fun. I mean, they're going to be on next month. Her, EJ,
right?
Yeah. Oh, so that was something I was going to say when we were talking before we actually started recording. Was I was telling EJ, he was like, "Oh, there's this fancy new," because I really want to set up my camera and finally like calibrate that. And he was like, "Oh, there's this cool like setup like tutorial thing or like guide that you can use in Lightburn." And I go, "Okay, but wait." I was like, "Do I have to have the latest version of Lightburn?" And he was like, "Yes." I was like, "That's a problem." So I have an older version. For several reasons. One, because every time you update, something goes awry. As you know, with fucking Windows erasing my most important files, years of files, or like you just run into issues that you didn't have before, and I have to pay for it now because like I've run out with, which is worth it. I think it's worth like what you pay for it, because you get a lot for what you pay for, but I just don't want to. Right. So yeah, I was like, oh, that's a problem. But yeah, I thought of Heather right away because she yelled at me today. She was testing a file for on a Tumblr because she was testing it with her settings on her machine because every machine is different. And so I sent her the file, and it apparently was like a Lightburn 2 file. And she was like, I'm running 2020 Lightburn. I can't use the Lightburn 2 file. I was like, I didn't know when 2 was created because I'm also outdated on Lightburn. So I had to send her like a Lightburn file, not a Lightburn 2 file. Yeah. So update your software if you want, but we don't.
We don't. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, all right. Thanks for joining us for however long this is.
Long, forever, whatever.
But it's been another great episode of the Ride Back Project with Crystal and John.
And Heather.
And me.
Bye.
Bye.
Mamie, we're all done.